meeting of the Northwood Beach Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners to order. It is 6:32 on the 23rd of February 2017. Present are Commissioners Hoffmeyer, Fort, Frosch, and Holly. Commissioner Singleton is not present. First item, agenda changes. Commissioner Hoffmeyer, do you have any agenda changes?
None that I see.
Commissioner Fort?
No.
Did you want to talk about that thing you sent us in an email?
I can, talk about it at the end. I mean,
I mean,
because, I sort of made my suggestions in that email.
right? Do you want to talk about it?
That I,
Or do you want to,
We can fit it into new business probably.
or something like this,
is it new business or is it old business? Because it's, well, I guess it is. It's new business. What the M&O levy should cover. So we'll put that under new business, M&O levy.
What was that again?
M&O, maintenance and operations levy. Okay, Commissioner Frost, do you have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to put in the Valley Committee as soon as we can at the beginning.
Is
Eric is here.
Oh, okay. Absolutely, we can, in order that he can get home to his sick child, we'll talk about Clover Valley Committee right after board issues. Okay? All right. And I have no further changes to the agenda. Public comments. First speaker, Mr. Myslinski.
Eric Kleski, representing Clover Valley Dog Park. As per normal, thank you for your continuous support with us. Regarding myself personally, I know that me and Mike were originally on the subcommittee for the park itself. I am going to be moving at the end of March, so I don't know if you guys wanted to elect a new subcommittee member or anything of that nature. I just figured you guys should be aware. Mike, I know you know, but I figured everyone else should know. And, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Emily Needy?
Next.
And, that's next. Okay, thank you, sorry.
I was just wondering if you could tell me why the minutes changed that were posted on YouTube, so there was a longer meeting posted, and then if you go back, now it's like that meeting was deleted and there's a new one that's shorter?
No, I'm sorry, and I should have explained. This is only for you to voice to us, and we don't interchange. So if you have a question about it, if you would ask the director later, or if you just send us an email, that's how you can get information. Okay? We have a long agenda tonight. Okay. Board issues. Commissioner Frosch. Okay. Commissioner Fort.
No.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer.
One, and it just came up. I thought about it before. I don't know that. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. He is a big part of the dog park out there, and should definitely be on the subcommittee. Is that formalized as chair? Have you appointed him to that subcommittee? Is that something we need
Already
to?
done. No.
I was appointed.
The committee is you,
Correct.
Commissioner Frosch,
Is it? Okay.
me,
I was making
and
sure.
he is a public
Because I knew
participant in
it was myself, you, and Eric. I wasn't sure if he was official. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay.
I think I was the part of the. This is before I was a commissioner. I was part of the committee. I think that's what was confusing.
Okay. Commissioner Frosch, are you willing to serve on the Clover Valley subcommittee?
Yes.
Fabulous. Good idea.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for your service as well since we're on the topic. And then if you guys want to find another member of the public to serve, it's not a requirement.
Could you start asking around?
Yeah, I'll put something up to the group.
Thank
It's
you.
always good to have another idea. All right, that was board issues. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to have a report from the Clover Valley Subcommittee.
So we are going to, after the meeting tonight, determine time practice. We got weathered out the last time.
It was a Saturday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was flat pouring.
Nothing to report.
Yep.
Okay, so you can get home to your sick child. Next, approval of minutes. So we have the December 19th and the January 26th minutes, is my understanding. I haven't seen any others, correct?
No, I will have mine before the next
It's-
meeting.
It's fine. Okay, so the December 19th minutes. Do I have a motion on those minutes?
I motion that we approve of the December 19th, 2016 regular meeting minutes.
As written?
Yes.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 19 December 2016 minutes as written. Discussion. I wrote them and I found a typo in there, so I will correct the typo. There's a missing T on the word there. And I think that was everything. So,
So that's spelled error, huh?
here, yeah. So will you amend your motion to as amended? To correct the typo?
Yes. I motion that we approve of the December 19th, 2016 regular meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the 19 December 2016 minutes be approved as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any, well, no opposed, because I also approve. So it's unanimous approval. Minutes of the 19th, so the 19th? No,
Yes.
the 19th of January. Do I have a motion on those minutes?
26 January.
Sorry. Yeah, now I'm looking. 26 January 2017. Do I have a motion on those minutes?
I motion that we approve the January 26, 2017 regular meeting as is.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the 26 January 2017 minutes be approved as written. I actually have some proposed changes for those.
And as the first revision, because I sent everybody a, like, they have to read it over, I had to send it out again, so what changed? I'm sure I missed some T's and dotted lines and so
That's
on.
actually okay. The only one was down in the levy subcommittee report, line 1, 2, 3, 4. You have written, Commissioner Fort motioned to put the M&O levy on the November 2017 ballot. Second, Commissioner Frosch. After further discussion, motion, anyway, so I recommend that we change it to Commissioner Fort moved instead of motioned. Here, I'll give you this. You don't have to write it down. And then I would also say, after further discussion, I would delete this, because then it says, Commissioner Fort, Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Frosch voted yes. Commissioner Hoffmeyer abstained, passed 3 for 1 abstain. So without that motion passed, you don't need that in there.
Okay.
It kind of confuses. That's all I thought. Does everyone understand what I said?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that to you. Okay, who made the original? You made the right motion. Do you want to amend your motion?
I would, I would amend it. I would,
Move.
I will move to approve the January 26, 2017 regular meeting as amended.
Second? Do I have a second?
Can I second move?
Yes, you can.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes, 26 January?
January 26th.
26, 2017 minutes as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I also say aye, unanimously approved. Thank you. Okay, voucher review. Can I get a motion on the vouchers?
Yeah, I motion that we approve of the expense vouchers 7439 through 7465 in the amount of $25,242.66, and the payroll in the amount of $34,082.27, for a total of $59,324.93.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve district vouchers 7439 to 7465 in the amounts of $25,242.66 and an M&O account, a transfer of M&O accounts payroll account in amounts of $34,082.27 for a total of 59 something. I don't have it written down. Discussion. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Clean water utility, is that something new? Because I found it at $4.13 in January, this January. And then we had two identical bills of $154.94. Goes to the county, the treasurer. $154.94, and I wondered if that was a mistake. for this month, and I've never found it in any other bill. So what is it, and why is it go from $4.13 to $300?
Because every piece of property we have gets this clean water bill. What they did.
Is it new?
No, it's new to us after a few years, because when they redid the address change here to 85 Southeast Jerome Street, it didn't get updated there. And that's, I think I briefed you guys.
In there where?
In county.
Oh, okay.
County didn't have it. So for those last few years, they've been sending out, but it hadn't been coming to us. And so they finally, someone finally called and said, hey, you guys are, we actually got a letter saying we're gonna be foreclosed on.
Okay, so the $554 is paying us up to,
Yes, it's-
so it should be like $4 a month.
It's more like 39 to 40 bucks a month or something.
Oh, really? Well, why was it only $4.13?
I
No.
don't know that.
Okay, but is this gonna pay us up?
This catches us up for all the stuff that we had in arrears, yes. And now everything's just going.
Have we been paying it? I mean, okay, so we didn't pay
Yeah,
it.
'cause
Is
we
it,
didn't know we
but
had
is it something completely new, or when did it start? I don't,
It's certainly in the last 3 years, because that's how much they came back to us for.
but if it's $30 a month, so is it $15 for each piece of property?
Each
Roughly?
property gets something, and it comes to about, Joanne can tell me the exact.
Meaning
number.
Clover, the ball fields is one, and then,
here. And
okay.
here. Yes.
I don't get the counting sometimes. I mean, can you imagine if Taco Bell didn't charge you for 3 years and they're like, oh, by the way. Like,
Would
Anyway.
you, I want to know I don't know what it is. I just want to know what it's for and how much it is. If you would come back and,
Sure.
you can either send us an email, or you can
I'll
do
do
it
it.
as an action item for next time,
I'll
whichever.
do an email for you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know if I.
So I had a question on the voucher review, came out to 59 to 324.93, and that's obviously through January of 2017. But the P&L shows through January of 17, 56,840.94. Why the difference?
Because remember, not everything hits the voucher. The P&L will have stuff in there that hasn't already gone through the voucher too sometimes. So you'll see an expense in there, or not see an expense based on when it got sent to county. So they won't always match.
You know that if we keep asking you the same question, I know eventually you're going to give us a different answer.
Just to see if you're listening, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Huffer, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions on that? Okay, it was moved, do you have any further questions? Sorry. Okay. It was moved and seconded that we approve district vouchers 7439 through 7465 in the amount of...
Actually, I did have one
Okay,
thing.
go ahead.
On the NWAC apparel special order line, if it's P&L, are we still doing that part or no? Is that,
Yeah, you can.
You can, that's the
line
only place.
145, $596.76 for goggles. I think that was
But
for,
that was from last year.
oh, is that from last year?
Yeah, see, this is
Oh,
2016.
okay, never mind then.
I was gonna say, that sounds
And we're-
familiar.
And we're not gonna, that's not in the budget for 2017, as I
Okay,
recall.
thank you.
Is that okay?
Gotcha, thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Because I only want to get through this once. I already had to say it like 3 times. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve district vouchers number 7439 through 7465 for the amount of $25,242.66 and a transfer for payroll from the M&O account to the payroll account in the amount of $34,082.27 for a total of $59,000 plus. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair also says aye, unanimous. Thank you. Committee
Can I ask a question? Because
Yes.
I actually had it in the wrong spot.
Yes.
So-
since we're there.
So in P&L, from the P&L through January 2017, major equipment purchase, I'm sorry, it was 368. And I imagine, and in the Visa card, it was a charge for goggles and
Swim caps.
Swim caps. It seems to me we just had a discussion about having a surplus that we had to try and sell off of NWAC swim caps that were out of date.
There were NWAC swim caps, and these aren't they for just out there?
They're concessioned up front. They're
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So they did. They sold off old NWAC caps, and then
Right.
these are not
Okay,
labeled.
all right.
Correct.
Does that answer your question, y'all?
mhm.
Okay. All right. We did the Clover Valley committee. The program review committee has not met. Levy committee. We also haven't met. We're meeting in March, so we should have a report next one. The biggest news for us is that last meeting we approved we're going to have the levy in November and not to August. Okay, action item review.
Okay. So I'll run down these. The first action item for me is to relook at what kayak equipment actually needs to be replaced. So Pete and I are going to meet on, I think it's 2 weeks. It's the 9th of March. I think it's 2 weeks from today. And we're going to go through those things, assuming nothing changes there. So that's going to, the next one was scheduled commissioner training for 2017. That's done. You guys should all have a meeting invite in your calendars. We decided last week for that on Wednesday. So that'll be March 30th at 6 o'clock p.m. here. I'm working, the next one is poll employees on interest in being afforded that ability to call the employee advisory service. And so I'm working up that sort of questionnaire, and then I'm going to distribute it through the department heads to their people. And I owe you that by April, and you'll have it by April. The next one is to, this one is just in work. It's looking into the cost of just sealing the leaks up there where we know the leaks are, and instead of a roof replacement, so that's still at work. The next one is the letter of appreciation to Les Schwab. So if Commissioner Frosch, when you have a moment, if you can either email me the point of contact, and then I'll draft up a letter and let you see it, and then I'll send it off, then we'll get that out of the way. Next one is a question from Commissioner Fort. Do NWAC swimmers that come back from college swim for free outside of NWAC practice times? The answer is no, although some of them are employees, and in that case, they would still have the employee privilege of doing that, but outside of that, no. We do have, the next one was put in an operative sign on the shower heads that don't work. We have that sign ready, but they're all, at this point, working, so that was done.
One in the men's room that's not working.
Actually, he just checked it tonight, and it was.
All right, great.
Yeah, so,
That released last.
yeah, but that was the one that he
Okay,
had the
all
sign
right, thank you.
for. Yeah, so, but he does have it, so we will put it on them when they don't work, and when we know that. So the next three came from last week's budget review. These are the last three action items. One of them was look into a better way to use to reflect the use of vacation time on there. So Joanne did find a way.
Oh, cool.
And so when she was trained to do this on QuickBooks and everything, and how it had always been done here, I'm going to be a little technical, only because I have to read it, because it's a little more technical than even I like. She was taught to use what they call a time off accrual history report. So basically it's how you accrue your time off, and that fed into the P&L. And it fed in accurately, and the way it was done, and the way most people understood it to be done, that was it. But the concern about accurately reflecting the expenses and all that turned out to be actually something that could be fixed. So what she discovered was that if you use something called the department summary report and use those journal entries, it'll now go in and it'll accurately reflect so you will take your salary, for salaried people this will work, for hourly
Yes, I
people,
understand.
but for salaried people you can look at the vacation and look at the salary or the wages for them on their salary line, and now it should add up to be.
So the two of them together should add up for what their annual salary
Yes,
should be.
that's what it
gotcha.
should do.
Thank you.
So You do have a copy of I put another copy because she went back and ran that
Oh, good.
into the 2016 P&L, and it changed the roughly 15K margin to 20K and some change.
So, yeah, see, I thought it would. Thank you.
So I put that in there just so you can see it.
Okay.
And so I checked mine.
Huh.
I went in there and checked mine and added
Wow,
up,
28.
It's a-
my wages plus the vacation I used, and it came to
There's the-
exactly what my W-2 said.
Cool.
It's just a P&L.
Yeah,
It should be in there.
All right,
It was in your green.
I got it.
There you go. Great, thank you.
Okay, the last two then real quickly are this one's in work still, the exploration of possible other insurance vendors for us, and our broker is going to do that this summer, whenever he starts working that up again. And then the last one is in work, that this month we'll have a program review committee talking about how we think the fee structure should do and to be presented for April. So
Yeah.
that one's still in work. But we'll get a meeting scheduled with the committee. And that's it for action items.
Now, I know we just said for another action item, clean water utility action.
Yeah.
That'll be,
So
that'll
that
be
could
added.
be an add- Okay, so
That'll
I'll
be
be
added.
put that as the action item.
And when you're doing the minutes, what you can do is you can just say, action items were reviewed, you don't have to put down what you said.
Okay.
And if you put in new action items, that's very helpful. But the only thing that really has to go in the minutes is any specific motions and how they voted.
Okay.
So that's what you have to have in it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, unfinished business. Line of credit update. Mr. Director, please. Executive Director.
Thank you. So the line of credit that we applied for with KB Bank was denied. And they considered us an unusual case, because we are a municipality. But for a line of credit, having an unsecured loan was not something that they wanted to do. Even though the amount we were asking for, we had over twice that in our reserve, but they don't want to do it. So here's, if the board wants me to do this, and I'm going to suggest why I think I should, but I'll leave it up to you. I'll go back and ask for some more information on this, because my concern there is if there's a catastrophic event that occurs here, and because we can't get a secured loan, how are we going to get a loan if we need it? And so, if that is something that you'd like me to go back and investigate, then I'd be more than glad to go back and talk to them about what we would have to do to get a loan.
Yes, please.
I got one idea there as well. There's a new bank in town. I have not worked with them. However, their CEO, Mike, was with Whidbey for 20 years. And I don't know, it seems like maybe they would help us out. Savvy Bank, they're on Midway.
Yeah, or Midway.
So Michael Cann's their CEO, and I kind of think he might be able to help us.
If you would please shoot me that contact
Yes,
information.
I will do.
I'm going to go back to Whidbey Bank, since they're the ones that I want to find out, if I go to them, what it would be, because it would be likely the same any other bank that we go
Well,
to.
Heritage is such a large corporation to where Mike could write it in-house, so it might be. I'll shoot that over.
If you would, please,
Yeah.
thank you.
We could use that house as a secured loan, or the piece of property we have. There's a we have a piece of property.
It's only assessed at like $5,000.
Okay, never mind.
There's one other thought with that as well. So Mike's their CEO, I think. So their president, Ron Wallen with P&L, is one of the better charitable givers in town as well. So it might be a very good connection, actually.
Okay.
Cheryl Lawler, the wife of the pastor of Family Bible, is their HR person. So they're all local people. That probably be a good connection instead of Whidbey as big as they've gotten with Heritage.
Okay, resolution for NWPRD support.
Yeah, this came up in the last meeting here. I would like to introduce it, and we'll see if we can get it passed. So this was crafted with myself, working with the NWAC parents and with Director McCaslin as well. So I'll go ahead and read that if I can.
No. If it's okay with you, let's just
Yeah.
read it silently,
Okay.
if that works. I do that better than listening myself, so.
You all through it? I think in the interest of being open, I think I read things better that way as well. If we could read it for the audience so they know what it says as well.
Okay, go ahead.
If that's possible, thank you. Okay. So this would be resolution 17-01. It would be our first one of 2017, obviously. In the matter of the district's support of the North Whidbey Aquatic Club, we, the North Whidbey Park and Recreation District, NWPRD, Board of Commissioners, support the North Whidbey Aquatic Club, NWAC, as a valued program of the district and will continue to commit to its future success and recognize its worth. Whereas, NWAC raises the visibility of the John Van Der Zyk Memorial Pool, JVMP, demonstrating the importance of continued tax support for this important asset in our community. The NWAC swimmers and families have always been a vital partner in our ability to pass the levy. Whereas, participation on NWAC is often the culmination of a young swimmer successfully completing the series of swim lessons offered through the district. We want to continue to build this link and the value of all of our aquatic programs at JVMP. Whereas, a benefit of participating on NWAC is building skills beyond swimming, including discipline and a strong work ethic. The majority of the swim instructors and lifeguards of the pool are former or current NWAC swimmers, and we are the beneficiaries of all they have learned as an NWAC swimmer. Whereas our high school swim teams are filled with current and former NWAC swimmers who perform well at district and state championship meets, highlighting the importance of having a local team close to home as a pipeline for the high school. Whereas many of our NWAC swimmers move on to collegiate opportunities or service academy appointments, reflecting well on the impact of NWPRD and the lives of our children in our community. Whereas, when you look to diversity and inclusiveness, you will not find a program within our community that does a better job at representing the community as a whole. NWAC engages swimmers of all abilities, and its alumni include swimmers with mental and physical disabilities, who have reached great heights in their swimming success, as well as their personal growth and development. Whereas, the benefits of NWAC to the district, community, and its membership are truly too many to quantify. It would be a list that could just continue on indefinitely. All these aforementioned benefits, assets, and advantages are directly tied to the district's mission and purpose. Now be resolved by the North Whidbey Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners that we fully support the NWAC and are dedicated to the continuing success of this valuable program. That would obviously be pending a successful vote. I would love the chance to speak to it a little bit, if there's a second.
Well, so is your motion that we sign this resolution?
Yes.
Is there a second? And there does not need to be. If there's no second, we're not going to discuss it any further.
I would love a second so we could discuss it at least.
We discussed
And,
it last week kind of a lot. I hear no second, so we're done. Thank you.
I have
No, we're done.
There is a backup plan crafted by staff that I would like to unveil as part of that.
Crafted by staff.
The executive director,
By all
So,
means, what is your
if I
backup?
may. It's a fair amount shorter. Same resolution number. And the matter of,
Okay, do you have that printed for us?
is there,
I can go print it, but
Okay, for future reference, if you're going to do something like this, you should have it to the members of the board in advance, by the weekend before, so that we have time to look at it and think about it. So go ahead and get copies for us. Thank you. We will wait. In fact, we'll just take a 5-minute break. Okay, so hopefully we're not called back to order at 7:05 p.m. And so go ahead and read this, your
Yes,
second one, if you would.
Resolution 1701, in the matter of the district's support of all of the North Whidbey Park and Recreation District's programs. We, the NWPRD Board of Commissioners, declare our continued support for all of the North Whidbey NWPRD aquatic programs and the Clover Valley Ball Fields and Off-Leash Dog Park as a valued program and activities and resources of the district, and will continue to commit to their future success and recognize their worth. Whereas the NWPRD aquatic programs include our swim school, water aerobics, lap swim, open swim, and the North Whidbey Aquatic Club. Whereas the Clover Valley Park includes the 2 baseball fields and the off-leash dog park. Whereas the benefits of these programs, activities, and resources to the district community and its membership are truly too many to quantify. It would be a list that could just continue on indefinitely. All these aforementioned programs, activities, and resources are directly tied to the district's mission and purpose. Now be resolved by the North Whidbey Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners that we fully support and are dedicated to the continuing success of these valuing programs, activities, and resources.
Okay, is there a motion then?
I motion that we approve of the Resolution 17-01 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution in front of us. I'll just say off the bat, we approved a budget that includes these programs. I don't think we need to have a resolution that says anything. Because we have a responsibility to constantly monitor what we're doing with the taxpayers' money and make changes as we need to. But it seems silly to me to put out a statement saying, we approve all our programs. Of course we do. We already did that. We did it in the budget. We do it every week. We come here more than once a month to do this. So I think it's silly. Sorry, but that's how I feel. Commissioner Ford.
Okay, so this is a taxpayer-supported facility. I've already given out to the commissioners and to the ED, and certainly any member who are here can certainly read it, my feelings about what the tax levy should pay for and what the programs and user fees should cover. I don't know if this is an attempt to get around, but I've already made clear that I feel that the program should cover their costs. When the pool first opened up, it passed a bond that built the pool. There was no maintenance and operation levy, which was probably an oversight, certainly. But even when they passed the first one, they said that they would hope that it would not need to do it again. Well, that was probably not realistic. But it's gone from being like 0% of, which is not realistic, maintenance and operation levy to support the pool, to now over 60% of the pool's budget comes from the levy. And I understand the director has been sort of hinting that he wants to increase it. So my stand is, I think if we keep saying we're going to support, we're working for the taxpayers, but we keep wanting to milk them more. I think they're contributing enough to the maintenance to the operation of the pool, and programs should be contributing more. And that's my feeling.
John?
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Frosch.
Give me a second, I'm trying to put my thoughts
Okay.
together here.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer, do you want to say something?
Yeah, given, I think when we all ran for this position, it was to represent the people. And at least for me, I feel that my job is to represent the people I'm hearing from, as opposed to assuming that I know what people want. And I'm not accusing anybody of that. But the people I keep hearing from feel that this board does not support NWAC in particular. I guess that's a rumor. Maybe the way this has went puts it on record as fact. I guess. But for me, the people of the community, enough so to where it's gotten to the point to where it's not just the people, the community asking the question. It's also the mayor, the city council, and the newspaper also asking why we don't support NWAC and some of our programs. So all I was trying to do with either one of these is, I think as a board, we had better damned well be willing to say that we support something that we're spending taxpayer money on. I guess if it's appropriate, I would like to ask the director, what type of things he may be hearing that tie into what I've heard that made me think this was necessary. And, another thing I'd be interested in is if there's any math that we've put together yet that shows, how much money NWAC is losing a year or possibly making a year. So if I could ask the chair if it's okay
I've already
if I ask.
summarized that for the last 5 years.
Did you read the email
I did.
from?
I
Okay.
did. Is it okay to ask the director those questions?
It is, but I think that he has a very stilted view, quite frankly. Tilted toward NWAC. Everyone I've ever asked thinks that, are you kidding me? You're spending money on kids swimming
Well, I guess-
that is not. So I'm just
That
telling
was
you,
my
that's
question.
what I'm hearing. And so I'm voting with actually against what I'm hearing from the people.
Well, I
Because
wish-
we're trying to get it resolved so that NWAC does pay for itself.
Yes.
It's not.
I wish they would come in so I could hear from them as well, and it seems to me some of the stuff that I've looked at makes me wonder if NWAC isn't one of the more productive programs here financially, and I wonder.
Why would you think that? Have you done the math on the figures?
I have, and I don't know if I'm looking at it right or not, but anywho, if I could ask the director those two questions about, whether there's a delta, how much money NWAC's losing, what they need to close, or are they making money, and what is he possibly hearing from people in the community that maybe makes him think that a resolution like this is necessary as well?
You may ask him those questions.
So I think there are two questions in there.
Two questions.
From what I hear from the community, I'm here every day, so I'm here around patrons that do all sorts of activities that we do here, and I'm here around whenever the parents and the kids of the swim team are in here practicing. And certainly the parents and those swimmers are obviously interested in the program surviving and still being available for all the benefits that you said in your first resolution proposal there. As far as the numbers go, I've been doing the numbers the same way for a year. There's difference in opinion on whether my approach, I'm not sure I would consider it stilted, but I have...
No, stilted wasn't your approach to the numbers. It was who you hear from. If you're not out in the community talking to people who aren't using the pool and are just taxpayers, are they the ones who are, NWAC is the way to go?
I'll say this, I don't hear anyone that comes to me that finds out what I do. To answer that specific question, no one comes to me and says, why? I don't hear that, so
And I have, so.
I'm sure. As far as the numbers go, the way I do the numbers, which is the way I do all programs, I do all programs the same way, as I emphatically stated back in the October meeting. Then the NWAC actually turned a profit last year, but the way other people want to see it done, it didn't. So
How large was the profit?
about $5,000.
Yeah.
Except if you consider the swim coach's salary to be an NWAC expense, which since he does nothing except coach NWAC, we wouldn't be paying his salary if there wasn't an NWAC. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be an NWAC. I support NWAC as long as they pay for themselves.
I support all youth intramural
Yes.
activities throughout the county.
Anyway, so I did some rough math, and it's like they lost over $10,000 last
Yeah.
year. And that was with the large sum that they got in the Halloween swim meet, that was a nice sum that they got, but it's still in excess of $10,000 was a loss.
I don't understand how, so $5,500 profit, $10,000 loss. The swim coach's salary is obviously more than $15,000, so I don't understand that math myself.
Because there's so many other things, but it's like they have roughly 50 swimmers is what I'm told. And last year, because we had a 15% increase in their fees, they paid more of their fees. There was what the families paid for the travel, which didn't cover it all. And there's various things, and I took everything that's NWAC on the revenue and everything that's NWAC in expenses.
Yes,
So I'm sure you read mine, or you at least may not have had a chance.
He said
to
he
read it.
did.
I did.
But you haven't had a chance to see what the director and how he figures his. And I did ask him to email us all, because I've seen it. And there's a distinct difference in the way we figure it.
Well, as the person who was most critical of the executive director during my eval, I felt like I was very honest with that at the time. Felt like other people scored it much better, and went on record as saying they would never go through that hiring process in the near future again. As somebody that came from being kind of critical, he's a money person, and I trust and respect the way he's doing that. And I think if there's board members that feel that he's cooking the books, I put it in good conscience, keep that person on staff.
Don't put words like that in my mouth, please. I never said cooking the books.
We just have a disagreement. He thinks that the coach should be funded 75% out of the levy funding.
He said his salary is overhead, and it's
And
like,
I don't think his salary should come out of the levy funding.
That's fair enough. And so back to the resolution I presented. I felt like it was milquetoast enough to where it would get by no problem. I don't see any unreasonable financial commitment we're making in here. We obviously have a budget to work with. I am very receptive to any words or sentences being added if we can get this passed. Otherwise, the newspaper likes to circulate papers, and this was presented so this doesn't go nuclear. Plan B was, and I have nothing left to say on it.
okay.
I finished my thoughts on this one right here. Couple things I like about this and a couple things I don't like about this. What I like about this is because some of these programs don't produce profit, such as the off-leash dog park. I mean, that's all overhead costs right there, and really there's nothing to do. It's all community service, cleaning up and all that stuff, except for the maintenance costs on there right there. That's the bad thing right there. The good thing is it's getting out there, even though it's already on the part of the budget, saying, hey, we're giving money to these programs to upkeep these ones right here. It's actually saying to the community, hey, we are actually actively investing into these programs that have nothing to do with profit, but it has to do with the well-being of the community and everybody inside the community. So I like it because it gets something out there. Because I've actually just been out in the park every day. I've heard bad things.
Every day.
The commissioners don't do anything.
Every day.
We don't do anything to support any of these programs. And who is actually going to take care of this if there's no funding? It's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So the more information we give out there, the more credibility, I should say, that we give to everybody that is in the process of like the funds and the budgets and meetings, like the board of commissioners, the executive director. The more the community will come together and say, hey, now we know exactly what they're doing. We could probably support them either non-financially, such as advertisement or something that anybody could do if they don't have any money. I mean, there's a lot of businesses out here that can contribute stuff to these programs that won't take anything out of the budget or take anything out of their profits, because that's just free advertisement for them. So, I like it. There's might be a little bit issues, but in general, I do like it.
Can I add one thing on that?
One thing.
I agree with what you said very much there. I just want to remind everybody that the value, even financial value, can be ascertained differently. So you look at something like the dog park and you're like, there's no way this place could possibly ever turn a profit. I mean, maybe you put a quarter machine at the gate, but I don't think that's practical. So you look at something like that and you're like, how could this place ever turn a profit? So is it of little to no value financially? And I think the answer is, if we take away any one of these 5 main programs. I think there's no way the levy passes. So a place like the dog park that's maybe of no financial value, I look at it and I say it's worth a $600,000 a year maintenance and operations levy. There's 21,000 registered voters in our district. If half of them vote, you know, what do we think the best we could possibly do is we have to get past 60%. What's the best we could do? 62, 63? We're talking the continued existence of this district is going to come down to less than 150 voters, in my opinion. I think if you lose any one program, you lose that. I think if this blows up in the paper, you lose that. I've done all I can do.
I still don't see how passing this resolution does anything for it. On it, seriously, that's all. I just think we've put it in the budget, we continue to meet, and it's like, I don't think that such a resolution needs to be passed.
I think
that's just, again,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
I just think it appeases the masses and keeps there from being a story in the paper.
Yeah, and there are other people who, if we just keep quiet about it, maybe that's better for us. That's what I think.
It's already to the city council and to the mayor and the paper, and somebody's not keeping quiet. It's none of us, but somebody's not keeping quiet.
I don't care. It's fine.
People
So-
have their opinions.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we pass the shorter resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Nay. So the nays have it. We will go a vote since it's a mixed vote. Commissioner Frosch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fort?
Nay.
Commissioner Shaw? And Hoffmeyer votes nay, and I vote, or you vote yes, sorry. I vote no, so it does not pass. Thank you. Okay. Minimum wage impact.
In your packet, you should have a spreadsheet that looks something like this. It should look exactly like this. That's what it is. Commissioner Ford, it will look like this.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
It's in the staple packet.
This thing?
It should be, no, in your staple packet. The big package.
The big one that had your minutes on top of it.
Oh, in the
There,
staple.
that one.
Okay,
Staple.
that one.
Like I said, the
That's
staple.
right.
Staple.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In the back, and
Okay, so while you're finding that, I'll start off. So we took a look at what the future impact of this minimum wage hike that occurred back in November for the state of Washington anyway, and what it's going to have on our finances. So what I did, I looked, this is a very narrow analysis because it's only aimed at really the positions that would be minimum wage in there. There are other impacts, but this is where the major impact would occur. So on your spreadsheet, you'll see that these are the positions. It would be the CSS, the people up front. Any training is done at minimum wage. Lifeguards, senior lifeguards, although they get a little bit more, they are directly affected because senior lifeguards get more than a regular lifeguard. So I put it in here just as a representative effect there. The custodial crew, janitorial staff, anything that happens during any of the shutdown maintenance we do is done at minimum wage. So you can see budgeted for this year was $206,000 in salary, plus then you had the payroll taxes. It came to just about $233,000 for this year, which from last year, actuals to this year, is actually about a $19,000 increase just on that, because it was such a steep jump, a $1.50 jump an hour is what it was. So, so for this year, you see about $233,000. Then next year, what you'll see is a 50-cent raise in 2018. That'll increase it by just over $11,000 is the cost of the minimum wage jump. And then in 2019, it jumps another roughly 4.5% to almost $11,000. And then in 2020, it jumps from $12 an hour to $13.50 an hour. So another $1.50 an hour raise, and that's that's almost $31,000 more. So what that is overall for I didn't count the jump to 17, but if you go 18, 19, and 20, those years, that's about $53,000 a year is what it'll end up being from 17 to there. It'll be a $53,000 increase in what is the minimum wage labor that we have. It's about a 23% increase. And as I said at the beginning, keep in mind that this is only the minimum wage jobs. There are other jobs out there that correspondingly are going to have to go up. You don't have people who are supervising people that are only making 50 cents more an hour than the people that are supervising. That's just not the way. Okay, you can disagree with me, Commissioner, but you don't do that. They have more responsibilities. So you're telling me that a person making minimum wage has 50 cents, within 50 cents of the responsibility of someone who's a director level here.
So keep your money.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they can go to McDonald's and be making, the same money,
Yeah.
maybe they would prefer to do that. I don't know.
I don't know. But again, the biggest jump comes in the minimum wage people. The other people that are affected are like a handful. So it's not like it's not anywhere near on this order of magnitude. It's a handful of people. So, but it's an impact that'll have to be dealt with down the road. So, I think with this, it needs to be factored into, or at least discussed.
Did you factor it into the 2017 budget? I thought the 2017 budget, it is factored, right?
Yeah, well, it has the increase to $11 an hour in it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the $19,000. So we need to factor in this as we approach what we want to ask for in the levy, because this is going up $53,000. I mean, it has to be there. And so, again, this was a more focused, narrowly focused. I did it only on the positions that would be affected by it, not the handful of other ones and any of the other impacts. But this is what it's going to cost us, assuming nothing changes based on all these parameters, assuming no changes to things over the next 3 to 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Doom and Gloom. Anyone have any questions for him?
Yeah, so basically, again, going back to what I put out is basically what levy should cover, what user programs and programs fee should cover. Line 68, the increase should come from program and user fees. Line 77, the increase should come from program and user fees. Line 78, the increase should come from program and user fees. Line 80 should come from programs and users fees. Line 84, I had it split, and line 85 would be M&O.
Based on the way you see it?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Commissioner training date, and we discussed that it's the 30th of March at 6 p.m. Write that down, Mr. Frush. Okay, any comments on that? Everyone can be there?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you for being willing to move it off of the 21st.
Oh, sure.
9 hours of meetings that day, so thank you.
It's gonna be 30 March. What are you looking for?
There it is.
Oh.
I know I wrote it down somewhere.
I want you to write it on your calendar at home. Make sure you're here. Okay, maintenance priorities. All right. So we walked around, those of us who were here walked around the building and then met and talked about, I've lost my piece of paper. Talked about what I had thought of were some maintenance priorities. So has everyone had an opportunity to look and think about those?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do you want to make some changes?
I was pretty happy with what I see. I mean, if people want to add something to it, that's something we can do. And, it might not seem this way at times, but we are all working together really, really hard. And we obviously support everything that was within our budget to the extent that it was there. That's a no-brainer, and I hope everybody gets that. When the 5 of us, or the 4 of us, plus staff, was up on the roof last week, we see a building in imminent need of repairs. $250,000 plus, who knows? So much money that we don't have. We get told we can't get money out of the bank. I hope that everybody realizes that even though a vote didn't go the way they want or something, that we're working together and we are truly between a rock and a hard place, or a pool and a hard place, or something. So we are trying. This is a start of us trying. So I really liked what I seen here so
Okay.
far.
So can I get a motion then on the draft maintenance priority list?
Yeah, I motion that we pass or adopt the draft NWPRD maintenance priorities list. Do you want me to read those priorities off as well, or?
You may, if you would
Okay.
like.
The priorities were listed. Safety of patrons and employees as number 1. Preservation of property and the facility, number 2, obviously. Money and cost is a concern. We need a long-term plan, Vice operating in a continual crisis mode, and we must include Clover Valley considerations within reason.
So it's been moved that we adopt the NWPR maintenance priorities as read. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Discussion. Or that we adopt these as read. Do we have a discussion? Does anyone want to make changes? Do you want to talk about them?
Is there anything anybody wants to add, or?
Mr. Frost, do you have anything?
I have nothing, I like,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the draft NWPR maintenance priorities as our,
You know,
our
is this-
maintenance priorities.
I got one. I
Okay.
got one idea. You know, and I know it's kind of a given that we're already getting it, but you know, maybe to always have an existing, you know, moving forward, maybe to always have a 12-month plan provided by staff and a 5-year plan provided by staff. You know, maybe that's.
And I think that's what, yeah, they
I
are.
know it's kind of what's coming. I just didn't know if it should be in here as well. I knew we were receiving
Well,
that.
that's,
already.
it says need a long-term plan, and we could put that in that part, need a long-term plan by operating and continue, have a 12-month and 5-year.
Yeah.
We could specify that if
Yep.
you wish to.
Yeah, let's. So need a long-term. Real quick, please.
Yeah, so what this does for me is, as I put together with the maintenance director, all the stuff that would go into a comprehensive maintenance plan, now this actually helps me how I compose the way it looks. These are the items that would be the safety of the place. These are the items that would be the preservation of the property facility and stuff like that. So it would be a long term. It could easily be put into actually whenever you see it, it'll almost fall into its own self. What are the near term things? What are the mid term things?
Would it be appropriate to do a 12-month and a 60-month, or is that just overly redundant?
Let me see how it works out, because then as we look at it, it can always be changed to look at something, but I think you'll see it fall out somewhat the way you want to see it done
Just
anyway.
leave it as is, then, if that's okay.
Okay.
So I actually had a question I should have. The reason I wanted you to go up on the roof,
Yes.
because you have some maintenance background, at least I don't have. And I was kind of confused about, you know, they said, well, what Matt's been saying is that apparently this roof was never meant to be replaced, and does that indicate that it can't be replaced? I'm not quite sure. And how do you replace it? Apparently you can't get that grade of aluminum anymore, and so.
I see 2 options. If it's not dealt with in the next 18 months, I see a complete tear-off and replacement that could.
What
God
kind
only
of
knows.
options do you see that we can
The
do?
immediate option, and I don't know where we come up with the money, and I haven't been out for a bid on something like this, obviously, and it would be a lot of money, I would assume, but probably 30% of the cost of the alternative. It personally seems to me, and we would need a professional's opinion, but it seems to me that if this is dealt with in the next 12 months, I don't know if everybody remembers back to 2005 Hurricane Katrina, blew the roof off the Superdome, the NFL bought the Superdome, and they sprayed a 2 or 3 inch thick foam roof on that. And then over that foam goes a rubber product, like a 100-year roof, they say. If it's gotten in the near future, I think that's an option. I know there's several companies
So we
in
could
Seattle.
basically spray our whole roof with this foam?
Whole daggone roof, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's
All right.
and so that they come in ahead of time, put flashing where it needs to be, the flashing into that concrete wall instead of the
Right.
flashing being glued to that. You know, they'll come in and they'll cut an inch deep into that concrete, and that flashing will become forever part of the building. And then the
okay.
foam will get sprayed over all that. as need
Okay,
be.
'cause I was thinking they were just like do parts of it, and I was
You know,
thinking,
and I know it's taboo, but I tell you, when it comes to commercial buildings, with the building boom in Snohomish, you know, King, Thurston, Pierce counties, it might not be, we might not be able to get a professional up here without paying them to drive up here, at least, as crappy as that is. We might have to pay somebody to give us a quote or a bid.
He's closer to the right than I want to admit.
You know, with working for HUD, we're required to get 3 bids for any job over X amount of dollars. We are almost, you will advertise in the paper for 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2
Could you
months,
look
3
into
months.
how much that
We
would
are
cost?
almost perpetually writing HUD a letter saying, this is it, 1 bid, this is it, I don't know what to tell you. We're on an island.
Yeah.
So, but I really think the spray foam roof is the way to go, but
The
I think.
entire roof.
Yes, the entire roof.
Okay.
I think if we wait more than 12 months, I think we're in trouble. And this is.
And they spray the foam over the existing, the stuff that's up there,
Yeah,
that
they would
rubber
come in and do
stuff?
some prep work they need, and then they would go over
metal and
everything.
apparently.
Huh, cool.
You know, you can look at what they did to the Superdome there in like 2006 or something, after the hurricane in
Made to
05.
myself. Okay.
There are leaks, these main wishbone beams that hold up the entire building. There are leaks around those beams.
Yeah, we
If
looked.
these leaks continue for another year, 2, 3, whatever the number is, at some point the imminent failure of the entire building exists, and hopefully the public understands that we're between a rock and a hard place. And I don't know. You're the director, maybe you can find the money or the way, or I don't know.
Sorry, what was your comment?
My question is, could you and Matt look into how much it would cost to pay whatever roofing company or whatever was?
Well, that's all ongoing, and that's where he's now moving off the island out of Mount Vernon further south,
Okay.
because either they're not interested, it's not what they do.
I mean, we've been trying to do this since like at least 2013, and so yeah, I think we need to move along.
Trying to get a roofer and electrician right now is almost an act of God.
Yeah. One other idea, and I hate to be name dropping, I'm not advertising for nobody, but Ron Wallen with P&L. He's a big time supporter of everything on Whidbey Island. That's all they do for the most part, to build commercial buildings out on the base. Maybe they have something in their Rolodex, somebody that would do them a favor and come up here possibly. Just an idea, but it might be worth calling P&L. They deal in,
Ron Wallen,
yeah, with P&L Construction, and they may be able to garner the bid through a sub, actually.
P&L or
Yeah.
P-N-L?
P&L.
Like,
It was Parkers and Lang
Okay.
is what it used to be.
P-N-L.
Yes.
All right.
And they could probably garner a bid through a subcontractor, actually, that they already have on the base, spraying a roof on a hangar or something.
Okay, good. I don't know, I'll have to find out if Matt has ever reached out to them, but I'll do that.
Great, thank you.
We do appreciate your expertise in
absolutely.
building.
Thank you. Well,
so much.
thank you for accepting some of it.
Well,
Thank you.
no, it's awesome. Okay, any other comments on, it's been moved and seconded that we will approve the draft NWPRD maintenance priorities as stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair also votes aye, unanimous approval. Moving on. New business, running club 2017.
Okay, you should have a piece of paper in there, Commissioner Ford's got it open, it should be in. It looks like it's got a big old, yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
That's
Saw that somewhere.
and everyone has that. I want to introduce Melissa Riker, for those that don't know her. She's the Executive Director for the Main Street Association downtown. She has offered to volunteer to see if we can't get this going. She's also a runner herself and involved with a lot of the running activities, the races that occur around here. So thanks for helping out and jumping in. So, and jump in anytime. They're going to ask you questions too, so jump in anytime. I'm just going to run through what we basically came up with. So Melissa and I have met twice now on this, and the goal is obviously to provide, as we've discussed, growth of the district that meets the needs of the community, but also takes us out of aquatics as well. We have to go out of aquatics. There was a running club here in the past, and I think we're ready to do this again based on what I'm about to discuss here. So this is what our first proposal at this would look like. We want to run a trial 8-week course that would go from April 25th till June 15th. It would be After schools, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it would be an hour long. So that's 16 sessions, so 16 hours. And this is what the financials of this will look like. So, and that's what the spreadsheet's for in front of you. So you see there we have coach's salary. It would be $17 an hour, fully loaded with everything. It's $25 an hour. Factoring in 15 minutes or so prior to 15 after to do the admin of everything, it's about 24 hours of time during that 8 weeks at $25, and that comes to $600. So because I'm trying to do everything here, and my aim is to have programs try to fund 25, as much as they can, 25% of our operating costs, I threw in the equivalent of 1 lane hour for every session. So that's times 16, that's $80. So $5, which is the 25% of the loaded cost of a lane.
So $80 per runner?
$80, no, it's $80 for the cost of the program.
Oh,
Cost of the program. I'll come down to the other cost here in a second. Then, because we'll need a CSS up front that'll have to take dues payments and stuff like that, I put in 1 lane hour, which is about all it would be, just getting it going, per session, and that's $48. You see a line item there for t-shirts, but that's a TBD because that one is not cooked completely yet. But when you add all that up, it comes to, for an 8-week course, the cost to the district would be $728. Now, what Melissa has done is gone out and is trying to find some donors that will help us out. And I'll actually turn it over to you because you found one already.
Yes. So I am the race director for the Megan McClellan Memorial Run, and that race takes place in conjunction with the Military Appreciation Picnic on September 9th this year. So I approached the CEO of the race and asked if they would like to be a sponsor for the first 8-week program of the running club, and they've agreed to a $500 sponsorship for the running club
Wow.
in exchange for being on the shirts for the running club.
Awesome.
And that was just the first initial, I haven't even thrown it out to anybody else. So, yeah.
It's the Megan McClellan run that they do in September. It's a marathon, right?
We have a 1K, 5K, 10K half marathon, and by 2018, we'll have a full marathon as well.
Yeah, she was a Marine who was killed from here.
Yes, sir.
Add dogs and we add pet food stores in there too. So like Petco, PetSmart, Island Pet Center, and that could use something else.
The
Hell,
running club.
you do that right there, I'll be game for that.
And that will be up to the executive director to check with the insurance company to see if we would be allowed to have dogs at the running club. As a dog owner myself, I would be all for that, so.
I'm pretty sure Wave has something because they do a run too with the dogs, so they might have something in works that already has that, so we don't have to do no more research on it. 'Cause I know they have their runs too.
Well, you would just have to check with your insurance company. It would be additional insurance, like for any of the races that I do, our insurance company is very specific about us not having dogs, just for the danger of dogs interacting with other ones and the liability. So that would just be a call to your insurance company to see if they would allow.
I think it sounds kind of dangerous, and I think anyway, I just do. And there are little children that don't like dogs, and big people that don't like dogs. So go ahead.
I had one quick question for you. Somehow the running club tied into the dog park really quickly, Clover Valley Park, etc. Earlier in the meeting, we need another subcommittee member actually. Could you reach out to Melissa and see if she or anyone she knows would be interested in being part of that subcommittee? Preferably with the connections and marketing experience she has.
Okay.
I like his idea right there.
Let's get back to what we're talking about, please. Running club. So what's your target audience then? School children? And you have a age starting to.
So that's one of the things that we had talked about. I've kind of just threw this out on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and said, would anybody be interested? I had interest from both adults and older kids, just for a liability. We had talked about an age limit, and that was, how old was that?
I don't remember.
We did talk, because I, with a group, and I would have a volunteer once in a while to come and help me, but as a group running somewhere, it's hard to keep the younger kids all together with the older people, so.
So, I mean, because this shows the financials, which I have a couple questions on, but then it doesn't have the whole, you know, here's what I propose to do. It's like, we're gonna meet 3 times a week, we're gonna, yes.
Yeah, I said part of it, I didn't finish the rest of it. So,
Oh,
yeah, so.
okay,
So it would be Tuesdays, Thursdays, twice a week, for an hour, after school. It would be after school for an hour. We're looking at basically, I mean, if we get enough, there's going to be a fee to it. It's going to depend on what the donations do. But what we're thinking right now is somewhere in the $50 to $55 for an 8-week course. But if we factor in the Megan McClung donation to it, we might be able to bring it down to $45 and something like that. So I mean, it would determine, the donations would determine what we would do. But our initial thought was in the $50 to $55 range per participant.
and do you have we have to have at least this many people signed up so that it will, you know, not be in the red?
Yeah, at $50 to $55, it would need 15 people.
And is that with the Megan McClung donation?
No, that's
Okay.
without. That's without.
Is it time sensitive, or could you wait until you had that many people before it started?
Well, we would, if we're going to move forward, we want to start getting the word out now
Yeah.
so that we can start seeing if there's interest. So that at a certain point, a tripwire, that we would go, okay, we're a go, or we're going to have to regroup and try this again in the summer sometime.
And that does happen a lot with different running clubs. They'll say, here, we're gonna propose this 8-week training session or 6-week training session, whatever it is. If I don't get X amount of people signed up by this time, everybody gets refunded their money that has already signed up, and we cancel and try it again later. So it's not totally unheard of that something like that would happen, and we wouldn't, you know, and obviously what I'm trying to do with the donations or the sponsorships is to keep the price down to make it more affordable for families, for more families to be involved.
Absolutely.
And if we even were able to, but I also want to charge something to where people feel financially invested in the program and they show up. The other part is I would love to offer some sponsorships or scholarships for some kids that might not be able to afford it. Maybe if they need to buy a new pair of running shoes, something like that. I would be interested in finding financial resources for that. So,
Where would this be taking place, at the track over at the school over here, or
no, I don't run tracks. It's
just like trails and
too
stuff like
monotonous
that,
for
like
my
City
brain,
Beach
so-
or something
So what we
like
would
that?
do, we would have a designated route, and especially with the parents that drop their kids off for this program, we would have a designated route, and the parents would be told what that route is, and it would pretty much be the same thing. What I normally run, I run from my house, which is just around the block from here, down to Windjammer Park, City Beach. I run Scenic Heights Trailhead and back out and even to Mailer Point, depending on the level that the runners are at when we start. And then we would build up to whatever mileage they wanted to build up to. So it would just be really an evaluation of the runners and what level they're at is how far we go, but I would not run a track. So,
Are you going to be running on the road at all?
we'd be running on sidewalks and
Okay,
on the shoulder of the road.
sidewalks is good. Shoulder of the road for little kids, I'm a little more wary of, but
Well, that's why we wouldn't go too young.
okay.
Like, my son's
Have-
9.5, he can totally handle running on the side of a road. But that's me
Okay.
and my parenting and our, you know, I'm a runner anyway, so he's used to that, but,
Live in a town without sidewalks on 3/4 of the road, what do you do?
right.
I know, but there are some parents who would be, you know, so,
And like I
anyway.
said, they would know the exact route that we're running, and
Okay.
we would all stay together. There would be somebody taking off, and if it was the older group, and they'd know where to meet us afterwards, so.
Have some safety vests and people using crosswalk guards and stuff like that, and like that. They do that. Yeah.
And did we interrupt again, or do you have more to say to it? Okay.
No, I think now it's time for input and
Okay,
discussion.
I have a question on operating costs. Tell me again why the 1 lane hour equivalent, why are we charging that when they're not using the pool at all?
Operating costs don't just cover everything at the pool, it covers stuff out of Clover Valley, it covers a lot of stuff. So if all programs are treated the same way, then, and when I do aquatic programs, it's a $5, 25% of the cost of running a lane for an hour. All programs can help contribute to the operating cost of the district. It doesn't make it really cost prohibitive. You see, it's $80
Right.
for 2 months, so.
But
Okay.
it seems like to me that most of this is in your purview of executive director, obviously, but what is staff, or what are you recommending that we do so this needs forward like you need it to?
Well, we have to get some interest, or gauge the interest that we're getting out of this. Finalize, I think the financials are pretty well finalized. We just need to know what are we going to charge based on, and that'll in part be based on what other donations. If this is the only donation we get for this court, well, we could go with a $45 type of thing right there. It's really just setting that and then coming back and telling you this is what we recommend.
Because this isn't in our budget,
Yes.
what we need a motion from someone to that we want to push forward
Or-
with this concept.
Or were we waiting to the 15-person tripwire that we knew would break us even?
Well, but they want to know that we actually approve of this concept, I believe.
Yeah.
They need that from us.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
does someone want to make a motion about this proposal?
Do you want to take a second, write it out, or say what you think would be best? Sounds like you got some good language in your head.
Okay.
I was in interviews for 9 hours today. I'm still trying to figure out what the first or second person said.
I think I'm not supposed to do this as chairman, but I will.
Thank you.
And I think what we would do is, if this is approved tonight, we'll take until another month and see what we can generate at that point, and then I can see where we're at from that point, and do we want to cancel it, do we want to go forward with it, do we get the remaining runners? But like I said, I have 3 people that are already interested, and we haven't even done anything for it. 4 people.
How fast do you guys run?
As fast as the slowest person, I guess.
I got a boy that needs to run, but I don't know how fast he can go.
How old is he?
He's 11.
He's probably that's a perfect
He
age
needs
for
to run
this.
pretty bad. And he can hike 14 miles a day at Mount Rainier, so, I mean, endurance is not an issue.
Well, and that's, I'm willing to work with whoever shows up. I mean, I'm not,
This bottom one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you read my writing?
So I was making sure I
Yeah,
could.
and if you don't agree with it, you don't have to say it.
Okay. I move that we move forward with the running club as proposed tonight, with further information to be provided later for final decision to run the program.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we move forward with the running club as proposed tonight with further information to be provided later for final decision to run the program. Any further discussion?
Yes, so that's the question. So I guess what you're telling me is basically this would be funded strictly from the user fees, in this case, user fees and donations and so on and so forth, including the less fortunate scholarships would come from the parents of the other runners
And donations.
and donations, right? So no money would be coming from the levy, is that correct?
correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
No, I think this is a very good model for the new programs that I feel that we should add to grow our support base.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we move forward with the running club as proposed tonight, with further information to be provided later for final decision to run the program. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair also votes aye, unanimously approved here. You can write that. Read that down.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi.
All right. Okay. Spring pool schedule.
So you should have the schedule in your packet there. So as we promised before we switched to the schedule on the pool, that we would bring it here and let you know if there are any changes or not.
Is it in the stapled package?
Yes.
Yes, it's in the schedule package.
Okay, one, I want you to redo it so that the times line up.
Can't
This
find
is
it
too
either.
hard
Me
to
neither,
read.
I didn't get it in my
I
package.
just went through the whole thing, it's not there.
Check your green it's not in your green packet.
No.
She said it was in this one. So, and I didn't see the stuff that they sent it
It was, because I printed it.
I think I did this earlier today. I think I went like this. Friend's like, I didn't know you were Catholic. I'm not, my God's not listening right now. What do you do, huh?
Well,
I don't have it nowhere.
I haven't been able to find it.
Blame it on that printer collator thing in there.
Hand me one, I'll get a copy. I don't know
Thank
why
you.
it's in one and not the other.
Well, mine's all marked up, but
That's all.
Really, she did a lot of work here. I like that.
So I was teasing your dad through you.
I heard a little bit of it.
That's what I was thinking about. And he was,
I said he
and
was-
then I was teasing about the candy, and so he tried to pass it around to everybody else.
I wanted to look at the
Assuage
candy.
guilt.
That's what I heard. Assuage the guilt. I'm like, that's awesome.
Thank you.
okay, so one, you need to line it up, because they used to be able to do that, so that you could actually look at it from a weekly basis. And then, do private lessons really happen at 6 in the morning?
Oh,
If the instructor, actually, they're having it at 6 in the morning.
Okay, I thought that's
Yeah, boy, good
silly,
for
but, and then, you have down here seasonal rotation, see website, no. Because last year, we were able to put in there what exactly was in there. So there's no, this is the season.
Oh, yeah.
So don't put seasonal rotation, put what is it that's March through June, because there is no seasonal change.
There is.
When is it
Does it change
change?
weekly?
It can change weekly, because this
Okay.
is what we do at this time. It can either be lap swim or it can be open swim. This is exactly what we briefed before. There's no change to what, the only change in here to what you guys approved, when you approved all of these, pending us coming to you before each change of season, is the high school swim team's not in here anymore. And that'll be filled with private lessons for that hour and 15 minutes. All this, the seasonal rotation is the stuff that we decide, okay, what's working now? There for a while, we tried open swim, and open swim went,
So it's not season rotation, it's weekly rotation.
well, that's semantics.
Yes, it is, but it makes a difference. Because seasonal says to me, the next season. When is the next season? The next season starts in June. This is the March to June season. So if it's a weekly rotation, that's something different than a seasonal rotation. That's like, I decide as the ED, I'm all powerful and I'm going to make a decision what I'm going to stick in here,
It
which is
semantics,
fine.
but it makes it
It's-
clearer.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's not,
how many options are there that could fit in seasonal rotation?
Oh, it would be, on Tuesday, Thursday, it could, that would be where the, Skagit Valley, which won't be here, they're only doing the winter quarter, would be in there. So it would either be open swim or lap swim is what would go in there.
So if we need to
And maybe
switch,
swim lessons.
so if we needed to switch the word to seasonal or weekly, or from seasonal to weekly or something else.
I'll entertain any name you guys want to call it, so.
I don't have the answer for that word, but is there a way to somehow squeeze what the 2 or 3 options are on there as well?
Well, but no, because there's a difference between open swim and lap swim. If they're doing open swim, you can't lap swim.
Exactly.
And so I want to know what
Yeah.
it would be, but it's like, if you're changing it every week, I agree, it should be rotational. And maybe just say that, rotational, but don't put seasonal rotation. Says to me, you just were lazy because it's going to change at the season.
Yeah.
The season is March to June, and then June to the beginning of school. Those are the seasons in the pool.
Well, why can't you have half open swim, half lap swim?
Because the little kids over on this side won't obey,
Okay.
is what I've been told.
Oh, okay. All right.
Schedule rotation.
I'm a commissioner and I got yelled at for smacking my kid with a needle, so.
So I have one other question.
Yes, sir.
If it is a weekly thing, I mean, I don't think the customers keep up with the schedule quite that.
It's not usually weekly though. Usually it'll run for a month, 4 weeks or so.
Even that.
We try to give people a couple of weeks at minimum if there's going to be a change to what's going to go on in the time
And
block.
how far ahead do we give them notice that there's going to be lap swim available or there's going to be open swim available? How far in advance? Can we do it like a month before this thing changes?
We typically try to no later than 2 weeks prior to a change during that time slot.
So that, because I would think that's one of the things that may be hurting us from getting people out at this time, at these hours for swim or open swim or whatever special program you have at that time.
So during that period, is it a case to where it's open swim 70% of the time, lap swim 75%
Actually,
of the
during
time?
the fall up to now, it's mostly been until this quarter where it was the Skagit Valley covering most of the stuff, most of the lanes. It was lap swim was the one that got the bigger draw.
The one that's bringing in the most draw. I just wondered if it wouldn't be better for people to assume that that's possibly what it is. And maybe there's a way to squeeze a phone number on that line as well, even though they should already know it. But I wonder if it's best to put lap swim, / rotational or something like that.
I got an idea, just call it mystery rotation.
The mystery is people just assume and don't come. And I just wondered if we went to what the default one is, maybe we get a few more people to show up for lap swim was my only guess.
Okay, let's change it to whatever rotation.
Thesaurus, another word for whatever. It's just an idea, I don't know what.
Periodic.
How about we call it director's choice?
There you go.
Hey, I like that.
We got something out of those stupid push valves. Manufacturer's choice, dealer's choice,
Dealer's choice.
director's choice.
Think about it, because it's like, I think you talk to people who look at this and bitch about it all the time, probably. But
I think
Aquatic,
it's come up before.
aquatic,
it has.
aquatic director choice by popular
Yeah.
demand.
So
Call this
maybe
number.
we should rotation, lap swim or open swim, and that way they'll know it could be lap swim,
See, that's
or if
what
they're an open swimmer, it could be open
That's
swim,
what
and
I
they
was
look, they call and say, what is it
That
tonight?
could be like
If we could
people
get
that
the
call
tour-
in to say if it's coming.
If we
Yeah.
could put, lap swim, open swim, something else, blah, 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 across
Yeah.
the top and
But
below
don't,
that rotation.
yeah, don't put seasonal
Or
rotation,
rotational
that's
above
not,
it. And
that
then the
just
three
bugs
options
me.
below it. I like that. Rotational and then the 3 options or whatever below that.
Yeah, well, it's not, he said it's not gonna be Skagit Valley, so
it's just 2 options,
it's
I
the
guess.
2.
Okay.
And then,
Is it possible you might make it something else?
No, it would either be lap or open swim. There's
All
nothing
right.
else to do
Okay,
there.
then, yeah, then I say, just put rotational, lap swim, or open swim, and that way people know, it's like, it could be my thing, and they can call and ask, or go online, as you said.
Exactly.
and it's-
We publish it up front, so they'll.
and do you put it on the website a couple weeks ahead of time too?
Yeah, we do there, we publish it, all the changes are on the platform.
But that means you have to actually come in, for
Well,
those
yeah,
who
yeah,
live
website-
miles out of town.
website if
And
it's
we
on-
do it on the Facebook page too. which
Okay,
is-
great.
Yeah.
And we have an expiration date this time too, so thank you for whoever that came from.
Yes. Okay, and then my next question, what are the limits on private lessons? What are the instructors told about usage of lanes versus other patrons? And basically it's because Lap Swim shares a lot of time with private lessons. And I've come in sometimes and it's like, it seems like the lessons are using up half the pool for 5 or 6 kids. and then, so you've got lap swimmers crammed in several to a
Well,
lane.
He's previously, he's put it out that private swim has priority over lap swim.
Well, actually, there's
There's a rule there somewhere, I think
you
it's in your.
see it on the weekends, it used to say it.
Yeah, I remember.
It used to be flip-flopped on Saturday, lap had a priority, and on Sunday, private had priority. But all the instructors there are known. In fact, I was in here last night with my son taking a private lesson and had a lane, and then they were filling up the other 2 lanes, and I went to the instructor that was working on my kid and said, hey, I'm going to at least open half this lane.
Well, but I mean, yeah, that's because you did it, but I
Well,
don't
no,
think
but
they're.
they know, anytime, they know this, Commissioner, but if a patron, actually they came, well, one of them recognized me as who I was and came and said, is there a way we can use some of this lane and start to fill up? So they will respond the same way, they do know that.
So they can private lessons share lanes, just like the swimmers have to share lanes?
To an extent, yes. But like if they're down at the deep end just working on diving, then then when the swimmer's coming down there, it just has to be kind of coordinated to.
So
watch
you're
out.
saying if they're just swimming back and forth, it's one private lesson per lane.
Well, depending on what they're doing, they could have multiple private lessons in a lane. It just depends on what they're doing.
What you're saying, but as long as one's one down one end and the other one's up the other end. But if they're swimming back and forth, it's one private lesson swimmer per
Might
lane.
be 2 in there. There might be 2 in there because I've seen them a lot of times.
I mean, that's what it used to be. They used to be able
If they're
to
going back and forth.
double
then
up,
they
just like the lap swimmers had to
Right.
double up.
Right. No,
And anymore, it seemed like that's not the case.
That's what I'm saying, it's like, I'm looking, and I'm not even
And
talking
I-
about the
and I-
private lessons, I'm talking about sometimes the group lessons, and I remember Erica saying, oh yeah, I could cram, 20 kids in one lesson in one lane, and it's like, I don't see that happening. And that's why my question is, what are the directions that are given to those swim instructors? What are their instructions about the equal use of the pool?
They're told to, if it's available, to allow patrons to come and swim in the same lane, or move private lessons into a common lane if they can accommodate it that way.
And do the lifeguards know that that's what the instructions are, and that they should help people? Because a lot of people don't want to, they're not going to go to
They're not going to jump in with kids.
Yeah.
So that's.
To answer your question, yes, they do know that.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on the swim schedule? Are you going to fix it so that it's lined up?
If it can be fixed, yes. But I don't.
They've done it before. I don't know why you
I'll
can't.
ask Julie, she's the one that does it, so I'll ask her.
Okay, tell her to fix
What
it
needs
so
to be
that.
lined up? I'm sorry.
Okay, see how this is 1:30 to 2:30, but then this is
Oh,
2:45,
yeah,
and it's the
you're
6
right.
o'clock. It's like, it's totally confusing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can put the same
Yeah, it is.
lines across so that you can see, because otherwise it's like you're looking and thinking, oh, that's 4 o'clock. No, wait a minute, it's 6 in the evening. It's not 4 o'clock. It's just ridiculous with the software that we have that it couldn't be done. Okay. Audit debrief.
Okay, so hopefully y'all had a chance to read the audit debrief in there. I'm just going to hit the highlights of it as we go down. The State Auditor's Office completed an accountability audit for us on the 27th of January. And it covered the year from January 1st of 2013 through December 31st of 2015. A couple weeks ago, Commissioner Shingleton, Joanne, and I went up to Bellingham to get the debrief from them, and that was conducted by their assistant audit manager. Of course, the purpose of that was to give us the results of the accountability audit, and then of course, part of that was the review of the status of prior findings or management letter items that they had on the 2013 audit that was done. So In the areas audited, the district operations complied with applicable requirements and provided adequate safeguarding of public resources, so that's good. District also complied with state regulations and laws and its own policies and procedures, which is another thing. One of the key thing here is there were no findings, and findings are significant issues that they would come in there, which would result in recommendations to resolve that issue. It would be helpful to us as a district. There are also, the next step down from finding would be a management letter, and those are issues that are, they're kind of like, okay, yeah, there's something here, but it's not big enough to be disclosed. It's not a major enough issue to be disclosed in the annual financial report, or in their report, what they do. But it does represent a concern that the auditors have about some. There was no management letter this time. So that's good too. What they did have were 3 exit items, and exit items are just recommendations that they have, and that's all they had in there. And you saw those in the thing. The district policies are outdated and do not address all the recommended topics, but as part of what we're doing with the employee manual, which is what we told them, all those things that they had concerns about are being addressed in the rewrite of the employee manual, so that's good. One salaried employee doesn't have an employee agreement outlining terms and benefits, and that was Matt. So I did a letter with Matt that said, Matt, this is what your salary is, and these are the benefits that you have and have had, and so that's been taken care of.
Can we see that?
Sure.
Thank you.
No changes though, it's just affirming what already existed.
Yeah, that's just beginning with the new beginning of January 1st. Yeah, let me Okay.
Now, real quick, with regards to a contract like that, there's been talk about, in the next fiscal year, maybe, or next calendar year, whichever it is, that, maybe we might have to take a deeper look at the insurance, et cetera. So when they're given something like that, there's an expiration date on that contract, or how does that work?
I don't know. I don't remember if there's an expiration date, but anything can be changed by us.
Yeah.
So I believe that wording is in there.
I just wondered if maybe on those, and this is probably more I don't work in an HR department or nothing like it. I just wondered if maybe those contracts might be better to be, with expiration dates on them possibly. Just an idea.
I'll check that. Let's just see what's in there.
Which contract?
The contracts for the 4 salary employees.
Is yours that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not salary, but it's still
Okay.
per fiscal year.
None of ours, the 2 here that have formal contracts, they're open-ended because it's an at-will and it can be ended, terminated with 30 days notice. So that's the termination period.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would think I don't know.
And this one doesn't require, so I will check it to see.
I just know myself included when because the agency I work for also has a board much like ours, and myself included, we get real pissy when they start taking stuff away from us. Well, when you take a step back, a budget's a budget, I get that, but I just wondered if maybe that would have helped alleviate.
Yeah, but it's in my contract, and I believe it's in his. I'll check it, and I'll send it out to everyone as well, that these are subject to change at the discretion of the districts.
Okay, so that's a good out on
So
everything.
if we,
Yes.
if next year, we change the amount of the insurance that we cover of his premium, then all we do is say this is what it's going to be. We give them enough notice so we start to plan far enough ahead. But then come that January 1st, then another letter will get signed saying, now this is what you're.
I really like that, and that's like the line on the job description where it says, and all pertinent and relative duties or something like that. So I like that idea you have there. I'd like to see that on all those if possible.
Okay. And then the last thing was they ran a test of some 2015 transactions. And what they found were some immaterial variances between some missed punch forms. And missed punch are if someone either forgets to clock in, or oftentimes I'll have a lifeguard that goes to be a swim instructor that comes back to be a lifeguard, and their fingers get to where the biometric thing up there won't read their fingerprint, so they do a punch card for that sometimes. So, but that, when they ran this test on it and came up with the discrepancies or the variances they had, that had already been resolved, because April of last year, I changed it to where Joanne, as the finance director, is the only one that can do changes to payroll. They have to come from the supervisor to her, but before that, any of the supervisors could sit there and change payroll stuff.
And these discrepancies, they were just scattered throughout the board. They weren't on just one person.
Oh, yeah, it was just,
Or not?
yeah, they were not specific to any one person. So I changed that last April. Joanne is the only one who can modify a time entry, either on a piece of paper or in the paycheck software that we use to enter it. So that was taken care of.
Okay, any other questions
Yes.
on the, go ahead.
Okay, so the final cost is, we originally was supposed to be $7,500, now it's down to $6,500, is that
No,
correct?
$6,000.30.
Okay, where is that gonna go on the P and L? Is that on, did we put the
It's-
7,500 in the P and L
It's
somewhere?
in the intergovernmental other.
Yeah, I looked in intergovernmental and it's not,
Is that the 2016?
yeah, or no, this is
Oh,
2017,
okay.
because aren't into 2017?
It would be in 2017.
Yeah, so there's no line item there for, correction services,
No, it-
intergovernmental other, is that it, 8,752? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that should include the 6,000 plus anything else we've had to pay for,
Okay.
government, licenses or fees.
Okay, so in actuality, hopefully that'll be less.
Yeah, we saved the money by Joanne and I putting well, you saw me unloading them that day.
Yeah.
The 10 boxes of records. We drove them up to Bellingham, so we didn't have to mail them or. And then we went up there and did the debrief and picked the boxes up instead of them coming down here. So
Okay, so
it saved
great.
about $1,800 just in travel
Yeah,
and
so-
the time.
So this 8,752 should probably come out lower at the end of the year, hopefully.
Yeah, $6,000.30.
Yeah, thank you.
What it came to.
So I want to thank you for your attention to detail and hard work on this so that we got a clean audit. Good job. That, and biggest thanks to Joanne.
Amen.
I'm trying to think of her whole last name. Muller is but Mount
Monteverdi
Virgin.
Mueller.
Yeah. So biggest kudos to her, but also to you. Thanks for looking at the last audit report, making sure that nothing was repeated, and so good job.
It was that my steady hand here the last 6 weeks of the audit period when I was first hired.
That's right. Oh, that's right. I forgot it was from not really last year. Well, then I take back all my nice comments about you.
I was about to correct you anyway. They took on board the last audit stuff already, and then there were some other things that Joanne corrected, and then I like to add a hand in one thing, which was the missed punch cards.
Okay, next on the new business notifications, patron comments. That's something that Commissioner Shingleton wanted. We will delay it, postpone it to next month. I'm not exactly sure what it was. 2017 district goals. So you guys have the 2016 district goals. Is everyone prepared to talk about the 2017 district goals, or do you want to postpone it? We actually haven't done.
Postpone.
Okay, we will postpone till next month, because we haven't been going that long really, but it's only been an hour and a half. It just seems like it's been forever. Okay, so we will postpone 2017 district goals, so please come prepared to update, change, whatever the 2017 goal. And we will also talk about how we think we did with our 2016 goals, and it wasn't all abysmal. So, in my opinion. Signage was also a Commissioner Shingleton thing. You have the package, so review that if you would for next time. And that has to do with, remember those baffle things up there? We can actually sell that space for advertising space.
If you want to see, it's right behind you there. If you
Yeah.
want to see the one.
Oh, we got,
Yeah, when we had this done, like, we've been talking about it for a little while. She had this done with these signs. So this is, what they could look like.
okay.
And we'd hang them up, charge money, make revenue for just having more color hanging from our ceiling. So it's all good.
Do we have any, I I'm not against putting it off for a month unless we're not missing out on nothing. We don't have anybody ready to go right this second.
No,
Okay. I just didn't know if we should pass it on a 30-day basis or something.
yeah. No, this is Wendy's,
Okay.
Wendy's
I like
thing.
it though. I do.
Yeah, yeah, all right. Okay. M&O levy. Oh. Do you want to talk about that this month, or do you want to push that also? Are you ready to talk about it? Because I sort of pressured you into talking about
Yeah,
it.
no, I mean, I think I wrote it, I tried to write it out so it's clear as I can make it. Basically, I think, I sort of outlined what I think should be funded by levy and what I think should be funded by program user fees. I know there'll be disagreements among us and among the NWAC team and among you, other users and so on and so forth. But it would be nice, I think, and you outlined how you feel it should be funded, and we certainly have some disagreements there. But so that we can talk coherently amongst each other, rather than saying, oh, we don't support this, we don't support that. Let's really talk about where we think the funding should come from, and try to come to a consensus as to what the levy should fund and what the program and user fees should fund.
So did you guys look at his email? Did
I
you,
looked at it and
did you disagree? Did
There are
you?
a lot of parts I agree with. I have been reminded myself a few times that there is a difference in the board's role as an upset in policy and the executive director's job of operations. So I worry that maybe we're infringing upon that in a few areas. But in general, I don't have any disagreements. Other than, I think a district with so few programs, I think we got to continue to support the programs we have. And I think, this measured approach to where we've forced, over the last year or two, to where we've forced a lot of these programs to pull more of their weight. And they need to, it's not a one-year thing. It's kind of like the sewage treatment plant here in Oak Harbor. They made us pay more each of 5 years in a row or something, and 5 turned into 7. It might be something like that. But I think we get our crack at that every year with the budget. So that's just my opinion, but there wasn't nothing I disagreed with as a whole. Just maybe.
And again, I think it would be, I would like it if you could email each of the board members what you've given me, so, because I mean, that will give them an understanding of where you stand.
If you could, I would like to see that as well.
So
Yes.
do you want to put it off for another month then?
Yeah, I do, yeah,
Okay.
because I was basically hoping to.
I thought this was very helpful, though.
Do you have anything to add on it right now, or?
Only a suggestion,
Okay.
not the discussion
Correct.
part of this. This might be something that would warrant a special meeting to have this discussion, because this could be a long,
Yeah, it
a lot
could
of
be.
people are going to
That's
have
true.
inputs on it,
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's my input.
Are there a few bullet points on it, maybe that Doc or the board chair might be able to put together to ask Bruce while he's here, just to make sure it's not something to where we are usurping our powers a little bit?
You know what, on that, if you recall, Commissioner, he's going to do the same basic thing the last time, the
Yes.
OPMA
Yep.
and then the PRR
Yeah.
discussion. He's going to go through the roles and responsibilities.
I just know he's been the mayor of Freda a long time and has a lot more parliamentary experiences than we do.
Yeah, I think for 3 or 4 of you, when you count Commissioner Shingleton, it'll be much the same that you saw last year. For Commissioner Frosch, it'll be new, and it'll be actually valuable for all of the refresher for some, and good exposure to roles and responsibilities.
And maybe it's a simple question, and it don't even have to be that narrow. It can be, how do you decide what's policy and what's operations or something? I mean, it might
And
be as
that's why
simple
it's
as that.
special meetings, so we can each explain our,
Yes, definitely.
so.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this warrants a special meeting at some point before,
right.
it'll take up a long time in a regular meeting.
Okay,
Do we think we should
do
get
we
it
want
on
to
the
have a
schedule?
special meeting before our next?
I said we just do the.
Well, I
the
would
next
like,
meeting
first of all, for you to have that email out, let some people to start to digest this a little bit, because I think it might take a few weeks for everybody to sort of read this, digest this, come up with their own thoughts and outline them on paper, as I had done. And so that when we sit down, you can say, well, I agree with this, but I disagree with this, and here's why. And
Okay, so you're gonna send us
Yeah, I'm gonna
something.
try to have it out next week. I have been tweaking my input. I have not responded because I've been working on it in
Yes.
between other things.
Is there,
I,
is there something, sorry. is
go
that-
ahead, go ahead.
Is there something, I know we are not a member no more, not being a municipality. However, it has to be something that's been determined before, and they're always willing to share what's already been prepared. They just won't add the legal aid, and that is the place that all the cities use.
MRSC?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we're not a member.
I know we're not a member, but they are always willing to let us, they are always willing to direct us to a case that has already been done like that. They won't give us any legal aid, but they will often point us to a case like that that's been done by
You can
another
search their
city.
website for just about anything
So
still.
I wondered if there has to be a Washington state law that defines what we're allowed to use an M&O for. Maintenance and operations office, there has to be something that defines what that is, I would think.
I
mean,
can
there's-
check into that.
Every taxing district in the state has an M&O pretty much. I mean, there has to be something out there that says what we can use it
Well,
on.
I think,
How about
if-
the pool in Anacortes? They might have one. You probably
they
see
do,
what
actually,
have.
I pretty much plagiarized that from
Yeah.
Anacortes. With some minor changes.
Commissioner, it's not plagiarism, it's best practices now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so I copied it, and that's basically where I got that from, talking to their director before I even started this as a commissioner, and
And they've been a
so.
well-run facility for a while, so that's.
And it is, and actually, not too many years ago, 10 years ago, they were having the problems we were having with
Yep.
their programs and their levies and people not passing levies because they felt the money was being misspent. So anyway, and they changed how I thought I passed that out at one time for the last levy, how they actually, and you know, it is almost pretty much close to what I put down here.
You came in and handed me, I scanned it and forwarded it out to the commissioner.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, yeah, and I think it just got cruised over. But I think we should. You're right. We should be discussing. We should all write down or look it over, come to our own conclusions, write down our thoughts, and then have a special meeting.
If we don't set a special meeting tonight, then it's not gonna get set until after the next meeting.
Well, and
So-
I think why isn't after the next meeting okay?
That's fine. I'm just wondering if you wanna delay, we can,
Yeah, I
or
think
it's
I
not even
do.
delay, it's like gives people more time to talk and to think about it, so.
Because I think
Okay.
I would want his input spread around to everybody, and let everybody try to digest that. Try
You
to
know,
digest-
I'd be supportive of a lot of things, providing that it was noted within that it was obviously not to commence until the next budgetary year or something like that. You know, we don't, I don't want to make any changes to our existing budget, obviously, if we can prevent it.
Yeah, no,
Give
no,
us all the information and then we'll discuss that next month. That's what I suggest.
Yeah, the budget is passed, it's gonna, we're not gonna go in and make huge changes based on this, but it'll be what we go forward with. Okay, does that,
Yeah.
but, okay, so we're gonna set it, we'll do a special meeting sometime after the next March regular meeting, yes?
But the intention is to do it sometime soon after the next regular
Yes.
meeting. And so people don't just put it off, start looking at it, please.
Yes.
Start digesting it and start coming up with writing down your opinions.
Now, I do
And
know-
even sending them to us.
Yeah, I do, and I don't know if it comes out of maintenance and operations, or whether it comes out of revenue
You're
through the
gonna
door.
have to think about
Or
it.
revenue through the door. But I do know that it's kind of on this topic. I do know that Anacortes' swim coach does get paid out of the facilities money. Out of,
He gets paid out of the facility, it's reimbursed by the swim.
only for the,
His-
I was told by
his-
their director, only.
His swim team, it's on that thing that came, that I just put out from
Got
Anacortes.
it straight from
I
Maryland.
was told by their director that it's
He's a
only the
public
assistants.
employee.
He is, because he does something other than coaching their
He helps
It's
swim
with
program.
100%
That's the only thing
he's called the youth aquatics director. I asked her about that. And the youth, it's not, there's two, there's the aquatics director and there's a youth aquatics director. If you look on there, when that thing I sent out, 100% of the youth aquatics director salary came out of user fees.
I believe
But
that.
However, he's a public employee. He's paid
He's a
out.
public employee, but it's still
not- he's not
funded
paid.
through, it's
They're
still funded through
kind of like
Not
earlier.
according to him.
Earlier, we were having a difference of, you know, this math versus the director's math. And if you dig into the Anacortes situation, they've got some colorful way of making it look right. But the way I was told by Marilyn and by Jason both is that that his salary or pay is 100% out of the facilities money and not out of the swim club.
Well, we can wait till our special meeting to.
Yeah.
You're saying 100% of it comes from the levy and not from the users.
Either the levy or the director says, hey, it's coming out of money through the front door.
So there's two sources
Wait,
of funds.
money through the front door is
Levy or
programs.
or
Yes.
programs. That's
Exactly.
what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So what do you
Yeah.
say? Is it 100% of it coming from levy or is it most of it coming
Without-
coming through the door?
You know, it seems like at the end of the day, it's all the same pot of money,
Well, see, we
honestly.
need to talk
It's
the
not.
same
It
language.
seems like it's all out of the budget. That's what I'm saying. But
Okay, all right,
if we're going to
moving
talk
on.
Anacortes, I just wanted to
Okay,
answer
we've
that as
already
well.
decided we're gonna talk about
Yes.
this
Thank you.
at a special meeting, so, but go ahead, review what the doc sent out. If you don't agree with it, you know, build your arguments, and we will set that next meeting. At the next meeting, we'll set a special meeting to talk about
I
this.
think it's a big enough issue to where it would be
Especially
It would
when
be
we're gonna-
helpful to all if we could make a few minor changes that
It
we
will
would
help
like
us
to see
determine
No,
the levy
absolutely.
rate.
So
pass unanimously if possible.
print it up or get a copy from the executive director. He's going to give us his thoughts on it. He'll send those to us soon. And give it some serious thought, please, and
Yes.
do your research that you need to do so that we can come up with a cohesive, intelligent response.
And from the meeting that it was introduced publicly, it would obviously, you know, after the meeting it was introduced, it would probably come back at the next meeting for a vote, most likely, I would think, and at least people know that we're talking
Well, no,
out quite a ways.
I would think we would be able, because you now have at least 4 weeks, and it's probably going to be 5 or 6, to think about it and cogitate in your head
Yes.
what should be paid by the budget, what should be paid by user fees. And it's like, I think we can probably vote the night of the special meeting.
And write it down, because if you don't write it down, you're gonna forget it. So
Yep.
besides, it makes it a lot easier.
Like I said, I would like to see us vote for it unanimously, if possible. Myself, I'm not getting a rap for the dark of the night, so I will not support it no matter what it says in a special meeting. However, a week later or whatever, in a regular meeting, I very well may be on
No,
board.
it's not special. Yeah, we would vote on it in a regular meeting.
Yes. I mean, that would make me much more
Sure.
comfortable.
What's wrong with doing special meetings are announced, the
No.
agenda's put out. I don't understand what's wrong with,
Yeah, I agree.
if it's a special meeting, we'll probably have a full house because it'll be, a lot of people will be here interested to know what we think about it.
I feel like we're talking so far off in the future that a 1 or 2 week delay wouldn't hurt us myself.
We're talking-
Okay, tell you what, the night of the special meeting, you can make that recommendation. I don't get it. Okay, moving on. Next is staff reports. Commissioner Frost, do you have any questions for the director on staff reports? No. Commissioner Fort?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer?
No, I don't.
The coach said we had 50 swimmers, and I know he said that last time. Does that include the masters? Because I thought it was 50 swimmers plus masters. And the masters are part of NWAC, are they not?
No, the Masters is its own little group.
And they're like 5 to 10, how many?
They're 51 now.
51 NWACs.
But they do utilize the coach.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, but they pay dues, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
And
I
it's
know.
all done into that part of the P&L.
yeah. But the, and how many masters do we have right now?
So I don't have a number on that for you off the top of my head.
Okay.
That's, because that's one of those things that depends on which, whether it's the 6 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I think they're probably in the neighborhood of a dozen, but I don't, how many show up, I don't know, I don't have I really don't focus on them too much.
Seems to vary from when I walk in the door.
Exactly. Sometimes you could have 1, sometimes you could have 5 in there.
Yeah.
It just depends.
I try to come near the end of when they're finishing up. so-
All right. Do you read these before you print them and put them out?
Not all of them, no.
Okay, I want you to start reading the Director of Aquatics ones. We are currently building team confidence and safety skills and setting expectations within the American Red Cross lifeguarding and Learn to Swim program standards. I don't know what that means. We approach the American Red Cross new updated material with teams, so begin the rollover process that will be effective in August 2017. Don't know what that means either. The exclamation points don't help. Lifeguards also practice shallow, deep water spinals. CPR, I know what CPR is. AED, I suspect that's something like CPR.
Automatic external
With
defibrillator.
BVMs, which, Blessed Virgin Mary, that's all, I don't know what a BVM is.
Bag valve mask,
What?
What?
bag valve mask, I don't know.
Yeah. It's the mask that you use for,
Okay.
Yeah, and you're right, that's the,
Acronyms are not our friend.
yes, no.
CPR, I think everyone knows what that is, but, you know.
one acronym is a friend, all the other friends.
Okay, and on the colorful chart showing that the numbers are kind of up in some areas, I was looking at it and thinking, I always thought that the numbers on the right here, that those were like number of patrons. Is that dollar amounts? Because then I looked and said rentals. Rentals is obviously amount of money. So has this always been amount of money that we took in and not numbers of patrons? Or is it just two different things? Rentals is obviously has to be dollars because that wasn't 200 and
I was very
almost
surprised
300
to see that,
people.
yes.
But, and the others are number of people or?
Or is it, for the rentals, is it, there was 40 people at this birthday party?
Yeah,
Get this
yeah.
300
So
quickly.
can you,
What, do they even count, do you even count how many people come here during the rentals?
I would,
During when?
the
Parties.
rentals.
Oh, yeah, they sign up for it, but, and the pricing,
I thought the pricing was sort of fixed
And-
for a
it is
certain number of
unless
days.
they exceed a
Could
certain
you,
number.
Okay,
could you speak to the swim thing done with Broadview and the PTA and however they did that and how that might be a third of those kids or something? Do you know anything about that?
You mean not,
I know it was.
it's not did Broadview come
No,
to here?
Broadview, the one across town. I know it was set up through Jessica. I know my son's school had a swimming part, Broadview had a swimming party here, and I know there was a lot of kids here.
Yeah.
I don't know, it seemed like there had to be 60 or
Yeah,
70
they do
kids out
that.
there.
They're already starting to make reservations for end of the year swim.
Was that under
Do you
the
know how many
rental
kids
school?
they had exactly?
No, I don't off the top of my head, but Julie.
I think the principal said like 70 kids and that was with
Yeah.
one party. So that would be why that number's all of a sudden up a little bit maybe.
Okay, but that was my question, because I, like I said, I always thought they were people, and then I thought, you know,
So on a private rental, you still count the people through that door then, roughly? Okay, fine.
so find out on that one. One PRR for January requesting employee information. Who's requesting it and what kind of employee information are they requesting? And what kind of information are we allowed to give out? I thought we were very limited in what we could do.
No, we can respond to what they.
What they want, what they ask.
They want, because we're a public entity.
Yes.
We have to provide it. They are asking for calendar 2016, the names of all employees, what their position is, what their compensation is.
Gee, somebody wanted all that?
Yeah.
Who wanted it?
There's a company, they're a company.
Is this that company that asks us once a
No,
month?
no,
Oh,
no, this is a company out of Florida that compiles databases, so if people want to come find something out about that there. So all they get is a name. They don't get any other personal information. They get a name.
And salary.
A name and a salary.
And they get
and a
that for
position.
free, right?
What's that?
We don't charge them anything.
No, because it's
Correct.
electronic. We just give it to them.
I thought there was a law or something that you only had to give out the salary of your 3 highest paid or something like that. I might be wrong, but I thought that's what I remember.
Well, I called CIAW and asked them because I didn't want to give out minor information because I had minors that are employees. They said there's no harm in doing that.
Okay.
So-
Okay. Anyone have any other questions on the staff reports? Okay, our employee of the month is Joanne Montevirgin Mueller, and I'm going to elect not to read the thing in here, but just to congratulate her and say it's very well deserved. I will read one comment. She was the key factor in preparing us for our recent outstanding audit conducted by the Washington State Auditor's Office. She has an impeccable work ethic, and in my opinion, she is invaluable to this district and our operations. And thank you, Joanne. We love you.
Girl does some heavy lifting.
Oh my God, yes. And she has to share the, sorry.
With that guy.
Yes, I am privileged to be
I'm
able
here.
to sit back there.
Okay, final board comments. We'll start over on this side. Mr.
Yeah, I had
Hoffmeyer.
a couple of questions for Kaz. The medical incident in the parking lot here a while back, is that all resolved? Is she
Yes.
still an employee?
Yes.
She is?
Yeah.
What?
Without going into
Yeah.
anything here publicly, it was a medical issue and it was resolved
Okay.
and she's
Good.
She's back in doing her stuff.
Good, cool. And I assume all laws and everything have been followed on that, and that's a good thing.
Correct.
Another question I had that kind of came up with this other stuff. So for the lifeguards and stuff to get CPR training, they pay for that, I would assume.
It's in the course. It's part of the.
That's what I thought, yeah, that's what I thought that's how that went. The course and the CPR training, is that done at 2 different days, or?
Well, it
Altogether?
can be, as part of the lifeguard course, the CPR, AED, and all that stuff is part of the course. We do a first aid, CPR, AED course that we're planning to try to do
Okay.
one March 4th, 5th, which I'm going to take. And
Well, that course there, and I'm very glad you are. I was wondering if the volunteer board should possibly get that training as well.
you're welcome to sign up for it.
What's the cost? Is there?
I think it's $200, because I think I paid, or no, I think it's $100, because I'm paying $200, because
And
my
I guess
wife
the
and I.
question was, being a volunteer board, would it be wise to, if none of us have that training, if it would be wise to not pay for that for the district
The
to pay for that?
retired doctor's the one that probably needs it the most.
I know I get it through work every 2 years, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
That's a personal
he
decision.
probably got a lifetime pass for it, but I just wondered.
It never hurts to have the training, but it may not be a good weekend for them, and I don't.
Exactly. Okay, just an idea. You have a lifetime pass, I suppose, on that one, huh?
I'm retired.
Besides, they keep
Hands
changing
only.
the rules.
I'm retired, hands only. So that was that. And then the only other thing was to the board chair, thank you for, during the maintenance priorities, thank you for letting me freewheel just a tiny bit, trying to soothe the masses, because I just recognized that we were probably going to lose some of our crowd, so thank you. And other than that, next.
Mr. Ford?
So, let's see, Matt, and I guess for you, are you gonna go to this course that's coming up for the pool operator?
No, just Matt.
Just Matt, because the previous director had. You don't think it'd be beneficial for you to go?
It will be whenever I have the budget to do it, but Matt needs it, and I
Okay.
don't need it.
How much is the budget? How much cost? I thought it was like $400.
It's probably would be around $400 to $500, depending on how far south they offer it when I go.
Okay.
So it's a mileage
Was it like a
hotel
1 or
and
2
all
day
that.
course?
It's 2 days.
2 days. Could you ask Matt to, when he's down there, to sort of grill him about, or to investigate the ozonator versus the UV system? For purification.
I've found from a lot of those classes there, the class and the course and the framework and the instructor, that's all great, but boy, some of the steps that you can learn from the people that are there that have done it their whole life, it's like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yep.
Ozonator versus UV?
Yep.
Okay.
Ozonator purification versus UV.
And we want to report on that when he gets back.
That'll be in the fall, because he's not going until the fall.
That's fine.
I got a suggestion to ask Eric, because he works for a pool company.
If he's got information that can help us, yeah.
Pretty sure he does. I'll ask him when I see him tomorrow.
All right, did you have anything else,
No, man.
Commissioner Frosch?
Nope.
And I have no further comments. Next meeting will be Thursday, March 23rd,
Do we do
27th.
public comments?
No, we only do public comments if there was an overrun.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll explain to you in a minute, but anyway. So next meeting is Thursday, March 23rd, 2017 at 6:30 PM. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
A motion that we adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair agrees, unanimously approved, we adjourned.
You need these folders back, Director?
Oh, sorry. Time is 8:43.
I'll take your green.